It was a long road trip. We were gone for 5 days, and we kind of ramped up. And I talked to the team just of the amount of heat that we're going to see, the amount of quality touches and long rallies we're going to see. And I thought we responded really, really well, and beat a really, really good UNI team in front of a hostile crowd. It was their first home match there, and a really good team. And then headed over to Wisconsin and played 3 tight sets, and I thought the second set we should have won, and I think they'll admit they got a little lucky on an overdig and then a serve that trickled over, but we had a really, really good team on the ropes in the second set. And then again, we've talked about playing volleyball at a high level as a muscle, and we just let off a little bit for 4 or 5 points in the first and third, but we're headed in the right direction. And then turned around and played Troy the next morning, and I thought we were a little slow to start, but got into playing the volleyball that we're supposed to be playing. So I'm really happy with where the team's at. We're healthy, we're fired up, we're ready to start SEC play.
Perfect. We'll start third row on the right to Richard.
Coach, what does it mean to start conference play with this rivalry, and what does it mean to be the first program to play in the reignition of the rivalry under the Cotton Holdings brand?
Yeah, I was wondering if the first question would be about Texas. No, it wasn't. It means a lot, and I think everyone, and I've had to remind our staff, and I'll remind our players, just that we play 2 matches this weekend, but September 27th has been circled on the calendar for a long time for a lot of people, and for me, it's adding a lot more interest to what it is that we're doing and getting people in the stands and getting them to fall in love with what we're doing. But I think it's one of the best rivalries in sport. I think for our sport, if both teams are firing at a high level and we're going after each other, I think it ups the ante for our sport. It ups the ante for the SEC. I think it's an awesome, I don't know if it was planned, but way to start SEC play, to put this right at the forefront of it.
And then what challenges come with playing this specific team, and given that that program has had plenty of postseason success recently?
I was going to say, they're really good. They're the 2-time defending national champions. That's probably the most difficult thing. I think the other side of it, just we played them in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year, and our team showed up to play. And I expect that to happen. I didn't think the moment got to them. I didn't think necessarily when we played Wisconsin the moment got to them. We got a little bit past kind of where we normally play in terms of, I don't know, we talked about activation. And then I thought we calmed down in the middle of that first set in a really hostile environment in Wisconsin. So I think the level of play is going to be really, really high. I think, again, AVCA rankings will come out in a second. I'm assuming based on our weekend we'll probably receive a few votes. I don't know if we'll be in it. But I do think both teams are top 25, and I think it'll be a battle.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left to Tyler.
Jamie, you've talked about growing the game, and how do you anticipate this atmosphere being on Friday, and then just what will a match like this do to grow, especially locally, this game?
I hope it's amazing. I know football's playing Arkansas up in Dallas, and that'll probably draw some people away, and I just encourage people, show up, leave that night, come see what we're about. I think it'll be an electric atmosphere. I think if any of you have been to a match this year, we've tried to add some different things with some crowd interaction and some lighting, and it's a fun place to be. So, and I think it'll be a show that's put on Friday night. So I hope people, let me say this, I know my wife was just at the post office, and they were talking about our match. So, and she was at her gym right before that, and they were talking about it. So I know there's a buzz around town. I know people will show up. I just encourage, just if people were thinking about leaving that day to head up to Dallas, stick around, see this, help support us, help see something new, and see some amazing volleyball.
And then that road trip you guys just went on, and especially taking on Wisconsin, how do you feel like that maybe has prepared this team before you play Texas?
Yeah, and I've talked in here just about the RPI system and how it's a little bit flawed and encourages you to play some of their matches. But I think those matches prep you to be able to withstand that level of volleyball for longer periods. And like I said, we let down for 4 points, and I think having to sit in that and be in a hostile environment stretches you a little bit, and it prepares you to go do it against other teams, and the SEC is going to be just that. So we did it on purpose at the end there to make sure that we tested ourselves a little bit, and I think we're prepared for what's coming.
Perfect. We'll go to Travis, front on the right.
With the point system, kind of making this a season-long thing with all the sports, what does it mean to be a part of that and to kind of kick that part off where it's like a little mini season on its own within the athletic departments?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And we talked about the Directors Cup, and we have that going on. I think it's awesome that we get this thing to have some camaraderie amongst our head coaches of like, hey, we're going after the school across town. And I'm excited and honored to be the one kicking it off. But I think it's a fun way to, again, ignite one of what I think is the best rivalries in sport.
Perfect. We'll go to the left-hand side, second row, followed by third.
Yeah, it seems like y'all's non-conference schedule was really building toward the Wisconsin match.
Yeah.
I know you guys dropped that one, but just, what was the demeanor of your team after that game and just the way they were able to respond and beat Troy the next day?
Yeah, I think there were mixed emotions. Like, I was pretty proud and fired up of how we figured out who we wanted to be in the middle of that and stayed true to it, and we fought regardless of the score. And then you slowly, I'm a little bit different where I think most coaches are like immediately after the loss, it stings harder and then it wears off. I'm kind of the opposite where I look for the positives in it. And then I wake up the next morning, my head pops off the pillow with some sort of bad word and upset that they, dug a ball that we hit really, really hard over the net and landed on the end line that we couldn't get. And there's nothing we can do about it. But so I think there's mixed emotions of like, we know we played well. We know we're capable of playing with that team. We know, and I said afterwards, like, I hope we get to see them again at some point in the tournament because I think it's going to be a battle. So I think it strangely gave us some confidence that we can go out against a really, really good volleyball team. And again, I think I took our administration there. I think it's one of the hardest places to play because their fans are loud. That place echoes. So we went into one of the more hostile environments in the country, played really well, and pushed a really good volleyball team. So I think it gave us some confidence. I think we're a little bit pissed off that we lost. I think we're hungry to get to work when we get into practice on Wednesday.
And then you mentioned just how good Texas has been the last couple of years. As you continue to try and build your program here in your second year, just how are you seeing your team take steps towards becoming more of an elite team like Texas has become? Yeah,
and again, I got a lot of respect. I was obviously there for a couple of years. I got a lot of respect for what they do. I think there's the volleyball piece and the non-volleyball piece. And I think from a volleyball standpoint, we're getting more physical and more skilled. And I give some credit. We hired Tom, our new strength coach, and he's doing an amazing job of making our athletes robust and healthy. And we've been healthy, and I'll give Taylor, our athletic trainer, credit for that too. And then we're just getting better at playing volleyball. There's these little touches that we continue to make that we're getting to be a better all-around volleyball team. And then on the other side of it, just you got to build a brand around your program. And when I took over this, it was to try to make sure that people think about this program when you say the word volleyball in Texas. And I think we're getting there. I think we're doing that through getting people in the stands. I think we're doing that through social media. I think we're doing that through the way Sam talks about our team. And I think there's that overall feeling that something's building here, and that's exactly what we want.
We'll stay on the left-hand side on the third row.
Coach, going back to your time at Texas, if you were here for that match in 2021, what do you remember about that? And kind of on that note, when it comes to a big crowd, that outside noise that comes with this rivalry, how do you keep the players focused on the match itself and maybe ignoring kind of the outside noise?
Yeah, to your first question, I wasn't here physically, so I was coaching for them, but I was volunteering there because I love coaching the sport. Of it. So I was actually coaching at Athletes Unlimited, and I was in a bubble and couldn't leave and come down, but I would prepare a scouting report and then watch it on TV, and it was actually the seed that got planted in the back of my head of, if this were to ever open up, this is a place that you can build something special where people care about it. So really, it was the birth and the beginning of me being here. And to your second question, I don't ask them to tune it out. I think they feed off of it. I think they feed off of it when we're in a hostile environment. I think we did it when we were at Wisconsin. I think our exhibition against Baylor, they promoted the heck out of it, and 4,000 people showed up, and they were rowdy. They were standing right behind us, and I think we play better with it. So I don't think it's, ignore it, tune it out. It's do exactly what the 12th man's supposed to do. They're supposed to be a piece of us and make it a piece of us and make it, hopefully, 13,000 people strong going at Texas. So I think we've done a really, really good job of using that energy and having it flow through us against the opponent, regardless if it's for us or against us.